Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite time of the week. That's right, it is time once again for DBR on CBR. It is Dragon Ball Rewatch time! And we hope you are watching along with us on Hulu and Crunchyroll. And if you are reading along with us, we hope you are reading along in the official translation from Viz Media. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John. Episode 27, number one, Under the Moon, which is definitely a fun dub title considering it references the name of the tournament, which hasn't been used in the dub. So that's a fun. The Japanese audience was August 27th, 1986, USA, September 25th, 2001. We're adapting 3 chapters: The Big Sleep, Jackie's Shocking Secret, and The Crowd Goes Wild. So I'm going to start brutally put out. This is the first Dragon Ball cop-out. This cliffhanger they build up the last episode is, Roshi's big move, and it's his sleepy boy hypnosis technique, which isn't a cool move. It's just it's after the beam clash, I think kids going in expected something a bit more impressive. They do kind of lampshade it with even the announcer being upset by the move.
Yeah.
But it's still like this Dragon Ball will do this more going into Z of these cliffhangers that are just not cliffhangers. Like very 1940s serial feel. How will Captain Marvel escape from this? Turns out he wasn't in the room at all, so it's fine.
I mean, we're about to get another one, frankly.
And I would argue the one this episode does at least make sense, and they do try and sell it more in the next episode rather than this episode where they, within 10 seconds, cut any hype for what it was by doing, hey.
That whole sequence of events with the sleepy boy technique and like, hey, there's food, Goku, and Goku wait. Like, that whole sequence is so funny that I kind of forget that it's a bit of a cop-out. I think it also is the beginning of the end for Roshi's sanity in this episode. Like, this is when he gives up on the Jackie Chun thing. He's just like, nope, I need to put this kid down now.
Which I like how they handle it here because he puts him to sleep and he's like, finally I can end this. And you can tell how snippy. I love the American voice actor here. Does a really good job of when he argues with the announcer, he's so snippy. It totally captures that Roshi is done. He does not care. His excuse is nonsense, and he knows it's nonsense. Because Raz points out, this is unfair to the audience. They came to see martial arts. In the one translation of the manga, Roshi goes, well, it has a Chinese name. But here, there's no even pretense of him trying to justify. It's like, it's fine. It's in the rules. Count. Yeah. I need this kid done.
Get to work. Do your job. But sorry, Airbud rules. So...
I love when Bulma has the idea. You get that little moment of Yamcha going, Bulma, what a brain. It's such a cute moment that kind of calls back to them in the Pilaf saga. And again, sort of lays that foundation for Goku's biggest strength always being his friends.
Yeah.
It's such a nice moment. Like, they could have just had Bulma shout and it just be a comedy moment, but having Yamcha sort of acknowledge that, hey, that was really clever and it comes from her knowing him.
Since really quick, since we're talking about voice acting, because this was something that I think about this a lot. I could easily look these things up before we get here, and I choose not to, instead to talk it out with you guys, like solving a problem together, like the internet doesn't exist. But spoiler alert, because you've already watched the episode, when Goku turns into the Ozaru, is Justin Cook doing the screams for the Ozaru? Because, like, there's a moment towards the end when the Ozaru is, like, really screaming, and I'm like, that's Yusuke Urameshi. Like, I'm pretty sure that that's Justin Cook doing that.
Sounds about right. I mean, it's not Stephanie.
It's definitely not
right. I would note, one of my fun facts this episode is the original broadcast of this gave all of Goku's lines during Great Ape and after Great Ape a voice filter and artificially dropped the pitch. You do hear little bits of that come through here. So it might be him doing it, or it might just be the voice filter. They dropped it when they sort of did the remaster, which is for the best. The filter sounded a bit... This can sound very, very nerdy to say, but it's very clearly an early 2000s voice filter. You can very clearly hear where like the wave is being compressed. If you've ever done anything with a door, you'll understand what I'm saying, but you can clearly hear the filter. So it could be a bit of that, could be a bit of the voice actor change.
It's like Ghostface in Scream being like, "What's your favorite scary movie?" It's that kind of voice filter.
Yeah, that and like Miku running on half battery kind of feel.
Oh God. But there was just something about this, like certain voice actors when they scream, it's like, okay, I know who that is. This one, I'm like, I know what Justin Cook sounds like when he's screaming, and sorry, Justin Cook, I promise it's not weird. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I was like, oh, because Justin Cook voices a lot of like the monster characters for a while, so it was that moment of like, oh, did they really just let him do that? That's just his thing. But
if you can scream, make a career out of it. That's what the heavy metal industry is based on.
Yeah. I love that we see the Janken fist again.
yes.
With the
And
Yes.
apparently it's also Grandpa Gohan's thing.
And he uses Janken fist on Yamcha. That's how he pokes him in the eyes and punches one of his teeth out. That Yamcha magically regrows or gets a veneer for. Like it's
Bulma bought it.
Bulma's
yeah. But
really good at dentistry.
would you argue that this is the time where Goku starts to fight dirty too?
Oh, totally, because he calls one move and punches in the face. I would say for Goku it isn't fighting dirty because that would imply Goku has any idea what the rules of fighting are, and it isn't just Goku being a brat because he can be.
Goku's energy, like last episode and this episode, Goku's energy again still is just like, I'm having a great. He has such SpongeBob energy in these episodes. I think that's the best way for me to put it. He's having a great time. He's ready to go to the Krusty Krab. Meanwhile, you have Roshi being like, "The world will end if I let this kid win."
What I love as well though is that you can argue with Goku calling one, hitting the other is like it's dirty fighting, but Roshi kind of asked for it. Because Roshi was like, oh, try again if you want. You've already lost. So Goku's like, well, okay, I'm just going to punch you. I love that after all this, what Goku gets the advantage, it's just a straight punch to the jaw. Like it kind of reminds me of the old joke of when the guy who fought a chess computer by being purposely terrible. Goku beats the magical martial artist by smacking him straight in the nose.
Just 5 in the face.
Yeah, why not?
And it starts a count. It knocks Roshi down. He lasts until he gets up after 7, and
because now the announcer can do his job.
Yeah,
I mean, Roshi just insulted him. He's all his right to fast count this. Can I point out? I love one of my favorite. I'm not sure if it was a deliberate detail, but Roshi threatens the announcer to use Sleepy Boy technique on him, which I love because it does convey Roshi being so angry he stopped thinking. Because you put the announcer to sleep, he can't count Roshi. Look at this tournament. It does not have a second official. That dog is not coming up here to count. So I love the idea that Roshi's so angry he threatens the guy in a way that guarantees he's going to lose.
I think also speaking of rules, when Roshi is like dodging Goku and Goku turns into the Ozaru, he mentions that like he can't leave the ring or he'll be disqualified. Meanwhile, Goku is like has a whole foot through the building and hasn't been disqualified. So, what are the?
I mean, Roshi went back that way earlier. It didn't count as an out, so I presume that any part of the stage is in, and I guess both feet have to touch.
But Goku has also tried to murder the audience, so
there's no rule that says the dog can't kill the viewers.
There's no rule that the dog can't kill the viewers.
I want to point out that again, the transformation, terrifying bit of body horror.
Yeah.
They went out there to traumatize a couple of kids. They were like, you're going to have nightmares about this, children. Enjoy them.
Yeah. It's very American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. Just how everything stretches. And we have those moments where he's all off proportion. Very well done. Surprising. Again, this is a show aimed at young children where we spent most of the episode making a gag about knocking him out.
And I feel like, ever since he grows back the tail during the Monster Beast Jiren fight, we know on some intuitive level, it's like the threat of the great ape is back. And here we are, less than 5 episodes later, and here it is.
But it's just long enough that it doesn't feel like sort of a pull. Like they've waited what's it now? 3 episodes we've waited. We've had other fights. They keep waiting just long enough that it goes back to being a surprise. there's a lovely bit of foreshadowing in these two episodes where the announcer does say who will they triumph before nightfall? And they keep doing the long shots and you see the sky changing color slowly.
Yeah.
It beautifully foreshadows that this is happening. This is why I'm really glad the anime added the bar scene with Giran, because it also does have that thing of it kind of fleshes out why no one saw it coming. The tournament wasn't meant to go on this long.
Yeah.
It was that rain delay and then everything else. That's why Bulma has forgotten. That's why Oolong has forgotten. It's like it's taken everyone by surprise, and I really like how they build to that.
I think there are two other things about the actual transformation sequence that I think are really interesting. One is that this does prove that Roshi had no idea that this was a possibility. Like, Roshi straight up did not know that this was going to happen, and he is deeply surprised. So that I think is interesting. And the other thing is just a fun thing for me. When the transformation happens, it smash cuts to Yamcha and Krillin. And Krillin looks like his whole world just got rocked. Like his eyes are bulging out, like he's changed animation studios. Meanwhile, Yamcha's like, oh no, this is happening again.
One of the other things I like real quick, the electric shock technique, the thunder shock technique that Roshi uses. He's like, your grandpa Gohan couldn't, this is where he threw in the towel. That would have been it'd be cool to see those two spar. But the idea that Goku surpasses his grandfather by going great ape, and it's another Grandpa Gohan reference, which is always great.
But again, being used to build Goku up as a character rather than take away from like, this is still Goku's moment. He is still the spotlight character, even when Grandpa Gohan is coming into the story. It is, you are doing better, but you also have a history in this world, which I love. I also love with the electric shock, the 20,000 volt surprise, how you do have that lovely slide from all the characters going, Goku can do this too. Just give it up. There's no shame in losing here. Like, Bulma really captures being actually scared for Goku's life in this whole moment. And it adds so much. Like, we saw the beam battle last time where it was play for fun. It was Goku having a nice time with it. Here it's everyone going, Goku, stop.
Yeah, like it's kind of that energy of somebody about to get into a fight with a cop, and you're like, dude, stay down before before you get tased. Like, this is basic. Roshi was just tasing this child. Like, that's the thing we need to understand is Goku was so hard to put down that now we had to go to lethal force.
Yeah, it's one of the very few times that we've seen Goku under mortal peril so far this series. And the idea that like Roshi has gotten that desperate where he's just like, look, you're going to give up or this is it. Even knowing full and well that, obviously if you kill your opponent, you get disqualified. That's established during the preliminary stuff that we were talking about. But at this point, he's just like, this is it. This is my ace in the hole. Get over this or give up or die.
Get Palpatine.
You get Palpatine, sucker. You kind of get the sense that on Roshi's end, this almost starts to edge into Pyrrhic victory territory when he's using the electric shock thing. Like, it's clear that Roshi's not enjoying this at that point. Like, this is no longer like a fun teaching exercise. This is like okay, if I'm going to keep you in this because you have potential, I need to do something drastic.
Yeah, I love how they animate Roshi here as well. Like, we mentioned before when he was talking to Nam, how he dropped all of the shtick. His body language in this fight changes. It is solid. It is structured. There is a real, I am doing a job here. There is no, I'm not having a laugh. I am, like, done. Like, this is deadly serious. I'm going to kill a child, and I don't really want to do it.
Yeah.
Which fuels the cliffhanger in this episode, right?
Oh, the cliffhanger, yeah. With Roshi launching max power at what we believe to be Goku.
Yeah, we've already been like, okay, this guy is potentially willing to kill Goku. What happens when Goku goes out of control? Is he going to put him down? And as far as episode 27 goes, we're like, maybe.
Yeah, this is one of those cliffhangers that you go to it now and go, it's really funny for us, because I can look at the box, the Dragon box on the shelf and go, so we're 27 episodes in. If he's dead here, what's all of this like lump? It's just moving tributes to Goku for 16 hours.
Hey, we're in anime. They do that.
They do a really good job of Cap setting that whole thing up. Even the Yamcha thing of him sprinting at that last minute to try and stop Roshi, done so well to, even if you know, give you that little shadow of doubt that maybe.
Can we talk about Sabat
Oh,
really throwing his whole body into Yamcha while he's running to wow, Roshi. Like just that like Sabat, we've talked about Sabat a lot before. We've talked about his Yamcha before, but like damn, it's so good here. It's so like blood curdlingly good here.
Yeah.
this performance should go up, be mentioned more for just really impactful moments for how they pull it off. How, especially, I think it's a really good moment for Yamcha that builds him so well as like he's goes straight to part. I'm gonna get behind him. We're gonna do the scissors again. This is our option. We know how it works. It has almost a weird sort of in old disaster movies where the grizzled old veteran cop comes in and it's like, we've dealt with this before. It bleeds. We can kill it.
Yeah.
It's that kind of vibe he immediately has. I am the veteran here. I will say, if you get the chance, watch the Japanese version because Bulma's voice actress does one of the most harrowing, emotionally raw screams near the end that I've ever heard. Like real Russian play vibes. She just is wailing to the point like the old story they have of in the Gundam recording booth, someone passed out because they tried to do a scene by actually choking themselves.
Yes.
This had that vibe. Like I do not know what she was thinking of to elicit those emotions. I hope she got like a fruit basket and some ice cream afterwards because Jesus.
Yeah.
Like
it's visceral. And Krillin of course gets the Goku scream thinking his best friend's dead too.
Goku, don't leave me. Like that's I think
Oh,
it's the last line of the episode is Goku, don't leave me until the narrator kicks back in. But like okay, again, we're coming at this with the benefit of hindsight where we've been through Goku dying and not dying and all that kind of stuff. But there's something about the refrain of like Oolong kind of starts that refrain with him saying Goku's name, and then you have like Yamcha cradling Bulma, and then you have Krillin crawling on top. Like they really play that up.
I think it helps. This is one of Goku's only deaths that isn't for a noble cause.
Yeah.
Every other Goku death, he is sacrificing himself. He is the hero. In this case, let's pretend the cliffhanger's right. We know it's not, but in this case, he would be dying as the villain.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it so emotional. There is no greater good involved in this ending. Roshi had to make the hard choice of, in the eyes of everyone else, killing Goku because he was harming people. And Goku is still, Goku a minute ago was being the fun child. There is no he gave himself nobly to stop Raditz. There is a God.
Okay, I'm going to throw this out here. It's going to be a deep cut, but bear with me. This particular moment reminds me so much of the end of the new Broly movie. Because, and what I think is the brilliance of that movie and why I think, like, genuinely on a quality level, and nerds, you can all fight me for this, I genuinely think it is the best Dragon Ball movie all over. And I don't think I'm going to get a lot of disagreement there. But I think what makes it work is that they build up Broly to be this like sympathetic character, and you don't want to see Gogeta kill him at the end. And I think that movie, now that I have the benefit of hindsight, took a lot of that energy from this episode. Yeah. And I would be really into it if that was done purposefully. I don't think it was, but I think you hit it on the head. You have a character who we don't want to see go down like that, seemingly go down like that, and it makes it all the more gut-wrenching to think of. And as Bulma puts it, he's just a kid.
I think it's a thing. Again, a lot of the movies do this. Z loses this. This is very relatable. It's a very human moment for all the characters where it is being portrayed as an actual death. Like there is nothing magical going on here. The characters react how you would expect someone witnessing effectively a murder to react. And it's built up by that thing with the electric shock where all the characters are going, stop now. There's that moment of genuine not even magical peril, of just straight peril. Like this is obviously we've never been in this situation in real life, but I think anyone watching this can go to when they saw something they didn't want to see, and this is what that is. I want to point out the Japanese version also pushed it a bit further. All of the previews for next episode and everything going forward are all hosted by Bulma and don't show Goku. They actually went all in on having it look like this was the end of Goku. They did a very good job of sort of playing the audience a little bit here. Obviously that doesn't work today as much with the internet because everything gets leaked early. But I think that's Bulma's hosting the next thing, and it's the next episode is focused on Bulma based on the previews. Like that's very clever.
That is very clever.
Yeah, no, it's a heck of a cliffhanger. And one, it's an action that we kind of see, play out later in Z. But and there's consequences even beyond episode 28. But yeah, it's a heck of a way. But you wouldn't call what comes next a cop out?
Not as much, I think, because I do think that it does at least have longer effects. And I will say that Roshi's motivations and logic make sense in universe. The reason I call this a cop-out is because they build it up as a big thing, and it's really not. Like, for me, the cop-out is when it's resolved in 5 seconds and there's no forward going. The moon being gone plays in later. It's a move that we see repeated later on. And next episode, sort of spoilers for that, there is an awkwardness to, like, even though everyone sort of goes Goku is alive, there is that awkwardness with Roshi for the rest of the characters for quite a while. Like, it does set up that they don't trust him as much anymore because sure, you won, but it clearly looked like what you were willing to do. And the fact that, this plays into the upcoming tournaments a lot more.
Sure.
And sort of builds up the ongoing threat of that Goku does have this darker side.
Yeah. Also, biggest Kamehameha wave we see so far in the series.
Yes, and that's also nice. It sort of teases that build up, the max power coming back later on, and it also shows us just how powerful Roshi is.
Yeah. Yeah, this dude can shatter planetoids. So yeah.
poor monster rabbit.
No, he's fine.
He's floating. He's in space. He's fine.
He's okay.
But it's kind of weird to say that now. We say that. Well, I know we joke about it a lot, but Roshi blew up the moon.
Yeah, Roshi blew up the moon.
There's guts as a writer to go, what's my character going to do? Blow up the moon. We're going to repair it? No, it's fine.
I'll go into next week why I think that was the case. From a standpoint.
So,
he's
just really
bored of drawing it.
Just really quick. In order to fully destroy I just quickly decided to Google it. In order to quickly actually destroy the moon, atomize it, not just like crack it in half, you would need to create a force of over 120 million trillion gigajoules, which are words I can't even begin to process. So, because otherwise it would crack apart and just become a sphere again. No, Roshi had to atomize it. So,
thank you for supervillains.com for that information as well.
Yeah.
Also found out there's an outer space treaty. You're not allowed to blow up the moon. Fun fact.
No, that was signed after the Cold War. Same reason why all those dropping truth bombs, all those owner star things are illegal. Because you're not allowed to own a piece of space because of the space treaty. They're all a scam. That's why they all have entertainment purposes only written on them. Sorry if you just brought someone a gift. This is how you had to find out you've broken the law.
Yeah.
No, that does make sense though, considering I tried to work it out, but I didn't have time. But Roshi was outputting 20,000 volts for a good 7 to 8 minutes. That's a lot of energy. By the way, people have survived 20,000 volts, but not for that long.
Yeah. Goku's he's built different.
Very, very different.
Literally.
But yeah, to output 20,000 volts continually is a hell of a lot of power. That's sort of power stations.
Well, you know what happens to a frog when it gets hit by lightning?
It becomes Great Ape.
Exactly. The same thing that happens to everything else. Duh, it becomes a monkey.
Oh no. No, I love this episode. I think it is saying for Dragon Ball feels a bit dismissive, but I will say for Dragon Ball, it has a lot of very subtle emotional writing cues. This kind of reminds me more of a play, like how sort of a traditional play would structure its tragedy. Like this,
Yeah.
it's almost Shakespearean in how it sort of builds you to this, guides you to this inevitable end of Goku getting blasted in the face.
Yeah, 100%. Well, any final thoughts? I'm losing daylight on my side.
Oh my God, yeah, the sun doesn't love you
Shenron has been summoned.
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly, this guy did this last time. Sleepy Boy technique. How many more times does Roshi use it? Wrong. He uses it once more
Oh,
in Dragon Ball Super.
Oh yeah.
During Tournament of Power, he uses it on Genos.
Yeah. He also uses the
sorry, on Ganos, not Genos.
Yeah.
Ganos.
He also uses the Thunderbolt surprise in Dragon Ball Super during the Tournament of Power.
Dragon Ball Super, all the Roshi powers come back for a brief moment. And in the games, it becomes his throw called the Lullaby Punch, which is just the best name for anything ever.
Nice.
I also just, my final thought is a weird question. Do you think that it's specific, all of the translations I've seen of it always specify gender for that move? Do you think that was a deliberate call by Shonen Jump to avoid uncomfortable implications vis-a-vis Bulma?
I don't know if they thought that hard about it in 80s Japan, but I think it's more that, it's just like he's fighting a boy. It's the sleepy boy. It's not the sleepy child. It's just like they're.
Fair. I'm just very glad they specified this as a gendered attack because, yes, Roshi.
Yes. I mean, I don't mind it, but yeah, that's what I think is kind of going on there.
Probably. But so a final thought. I talked a lot this episode. I talk a lot every episode, but
someone has to.
Someone has to. But my main final thought is mainly about the surprise attack. And my thing is, can anything be a surprise attack when you yell surprise attack?
I mean, the surprise is that you shout surprise.
Yeah, and also he didn't know what was coming. He was just like, I've got something for you.
Got something for you. Well, yeah,
I couldn't find proof of this, but I did find a couple of Japanese people who had said that apparently it's a reference to a game show. That specific verbiage. The something surprise. It's just I couldn't find it. That might not be true. I couldn't find any verification of that. But then again, my knowledge of Japanese game shows isn't particularly strong outside of irritating stick. So
you're not going to sift through all 8 million Japanese game shows?
I did. I spent a good 25 minutes before realizing I could be doing something else. I mean, it does kind of make sense. To be fair, I think you can argue that Roshi's moves always have weird names.
That's true.
I think Roshi just likes Nate. I will say, I'm going back on a second final thought, is that I do like the idea with sort of Drunken Fist and Janken Fist being Gohan's thing, that those two seems to have sparred a lot. It does kind of give the impression that those two had like just a thing of making up stupid moves to go against each other. That's why Gohan took all of these, because Roshi's like, well, if you're going to call your thing rock, paper, scissors, punch, I'm going to come up with the 20,000 surprise. It does have a kind of brotherly, we're messing with each other while sparring feel to it.
Give me my Master Roshi, Grandpa Gohan prequel manga. Like
with the Ox King.
With the Ox King. Oh my God, I would read the hell out of that.
The Ox King and his tiny cars.
Yeah.
Yes, tiny cars, Ox King going to pick up girls with Grandpa Gohan and Master Roshi. I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah. Cut it, print it.
Yes. Oh.
Cut it, print it. But any other final thoughts?
One final thing. I've had 3. I'm taking. Do note that in the crowd running away scene, you see there's Kaneko Man and the Lupin cast are knocking around.
Yep.
Which that's really cute.
Yeah. Game. Yeah.
We do love that. And we also do still love Dragon Ball, but we also know that everybody has their limits for how much they can listen to me blabber on, and which is fine. But regardless of all that, this has once again been DBR on CBR. It has been Dragon Ball Rewatch, and as sad as we are to see you go, we hope you continue to watch along with us on Hulu and Crunchyroll, and we hope you continue to read along with us if you are so inclined in the Viz Media translation of the manga. Once again, we have been your hosts, and we love you all. My name is Alyx.
Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time on Dragon Ball. Bye!